African 50.
Hey, guess who's back? It's your boy African 50, and I'm back with a brand new video. Yes, I'm back with a brand new track. It's your boy African 50 from out of Jamaica. You're living in Florida. Big up Florida, big up Floridonians, putting Floridonians on the map, putting Florida on the map. Florida is a beautiful state. You need to come here, take a vacation, relax, cool off, taste the different atmosphere. Yes, guys, I'm back with a brand new track, and I promise you guys that I was gonna do this video on Rastafarian, and there's so much about the culture that if I dig, I'm gonna start digging deep and deep and deep. So I'm just gonna give you a surface of the edge of the Rastafarian culture, and where it starts and where it begins, and the exploitations of the Rastafarian culture and the movements. So before I dive deep down into this video, guys, I want to say big shout out to my friends, my family, my subscribers, my well-wishers. Big up YouTube. Your respect is always lodged to the heavens. Big up the Rastafarians, wherever you are in Jamaica, around the world, because one of my best friends here, he's white, but he's Rastafarian, and I'm gonna tell you all about him one day. But it's not about him right now. It's about the culture of the Rastafarianism, the spiritual culture, the movements, the ideology, the philosophy, and who it started from, and how it started, and why it started. So yeah, let's get to it, guys. Rastafarian. What is Rastafarian? Who's a Rastafarian? Who's a Rastafari? Rastafari is an Abrahamic. Am I pronouncing it right? Abrahamic religion. It was developed in Jamaica during the 1930s. It was both a new religion movement and a social movement. So it was not just a religious movement, it was also a social movement, guys. I'm sorry, by schoolers of religion. So it was not just one person that formed that religion. It was a group of schoolers, that formed that religion. And I know the great Marcus Messiah Garvey was amongst some of those schoolers. There was no central authority control amongst the movement. There was no group of people who owned the movement, or not just one person or persons that owned the movement. It was a diversity exists among practitioners, who was known as Rastafari, Rastafarians, Rastas. So it wasn't a movement that it was just one set of people, or one person, that started the movement. And I'm going to dive deep down into it and tell you why the movement was started, because I know back in the days, I grew up in a Christian home, and back in the days when Christian people saw Rastafarians, they used to call them dirty dread or dirty boy, and they used to say that they have 40 leg in their head and all that stuff, because they didn't understand the religion. They have their religion, their belief, and so was the Rastafarians had their culture, their beliefs. And the Maroons, they had their culture, their beliefs. The Ibu, they had their culture, their beliefs. And you have the Nyabingi, the Ashanti, the Bobo Dread. It's not just it's one religion, but like I said, it's like 12 tribes came from that one religion. And that's why you have Natty Dread, you have Dreadlocks, you have Bobo Dread, you have Nyabingi, You understand? And it goes on, the list goes on and goes on. So Rastafarian belief are based on interpretation of the Bible, central of the religion in the monotheistic belief in a single God, and that God was Jah, or Jah, Jah. They know that there's a God, but their God is Jah, which is Jehovah, or Jaila, or Yahshua. It all boils down to the same thing. You understand? So Rasta accord key importance to Haile Selassie, the emperor. You know what I'm saying? Because between the 1930s, man, and that between 1930 and 1974, Rasta was regarded as a nobody. They used to call him that dirty boy and dirty dread and all them stuff. You understand? I mean, Rastafarian regarded variously as the second coming of Jesus, Jah incarnate, a human prophet. That was the philosophy of the Rastafarian. Rastafari is a Afrocentric and focus attention on the African diaspora, which in belief is oppressed within the Western society, which we modern days call them Babylons or Babylonians. You know what I'm saying? And many Rastas call for this diaspora's settlement in Africa. A continent that they consider the promised land. You understand? Which Africa is not the promised land. Africa is the land. Africa is the land of our birth. From our ancestors. So how can you promise somebody something that's already theirs? How can you promise somebody a land that's already theirs? Africa is for Africans. Africa is for Africans, man. See, you can't tell black people from around the world, come to Africa, I'm going to give you a piece of Africa. We already own Africa. The color of our skin make us Africans, and no matter where you go across the world, across the globes, and so black, they're going to call you African. If you're from Jamaica, they're going to call you African. If you're from anywhere in the West Indies, they're going to call you African. And I'm an African. Whether you want to call me a Jamaican African or African American, I'm down by the African. And I mean, Zion train is calling, man. As Rasta refer to their practice as livity, which includes ital dietary requirements, wearing the hair in dreadlocks and following practical gender roles. Practical gender roles, guys. That's why when Rasta man burn out certain things, don't burn these men, because they burn out certain things because they see beyond the eyes of a lot of humans that walk and trod the earth. You understand? And for this to happen, you have to cleanse yourself. You gotta be clean. You understand? Your hands have to be clean and your heart gotta be pure. You know what I'm saying? And then bring it to you through the music, through the chanting, discussion, smoking some herb and lot of regard is as a sacrament with the beneficial properties that comes with it. Because look at all, 70% of Rastaman who took on the music business become successful. You understand? At times they might sing music or you say you don't want to listen because it's not jump up music, but if you sit down properly and listen to the music, you will get the full understanding of the music. Or you just sit down and listen to all Bob Marley music. I love Bob Marley music, but I don't sit and listen to all Bob Marley music. I love Dennis Brown music, but I don't sit and listen to all Dennis Brown music. and listen to some of these younger generation music. Because the message might sound stupid to you, but to someone else, they get the message. You understand? That's why I always say, man, give the youths a blind, man. Give the youths a blind. Stopping the youths. Them, if you see a youth coming up and him growing him here, leave him alone, let him grow him here. You understand? All these teachers and these principals in these schools are forced people picnic to cut off them here and all them stuff. Stop it. Stop it. It's not right. It's not right. Because if you have your child and your child growing his or her locks and go to another school, would you like that teacher to cut off your child here? No, you're going to approach them and say, oh, I'm a teacher and he's my son or she's my daughter, so you know, can they get a blight? Because that's how society run. But I believe what goes for the goose goes for the gander. You know what I'm saying? And that's what Rastafarians stand for, people. So, you know, that's what I said in my earlier video. Rastafarianism is not it's a religion. You know, it's a religion, and the culture comes from the religion. You form a culture within the religion, and you abide by that rules and regulation of that culture. You know, that's what Rastafarianism is all about. So if you're growing your locks and you don't know what the hair represent and the hair mean, don't grow it, man. Stay Rasta from the heart. Stay Rasta from the heart, you know. And I'm going to tell you now, guys, and this is something very serious and very important. Rastafari originated amongst impoverished and socially disenfranchised Afro-Jamaican communities in the 1930s. You know, that the ideology was largely racist against Jamaican. Then dominant British colonial culture came in and dominated. It was influenced by both Ethiopians and black Back to Africa movement. You know what I'm saying? And Marcus Garvey was part of that Back to Africa movement. You know what I'm saying? Promoted by black and nationalist figures such as, you know, the great, I said it again, this man name can never stop calling him, the great Sir Marcus Mosiah Garvey. You know, the religion developed after several Protestant Christians, clergymen was notably this guy named Leonard Howell. Yeah, I think his name was Leonard Howell. He was the head of the Noble Church Assembly. Proclaimed that Haile Selassie crowning as Emperor of Ethiopia in the 1990s fulfilled a biblical prophecy. You know, that's how them exploit black people and trick them and all them stuff, you know, and you say one thing and the next thing you say another thing, you know what I'm saying? Make up your mind which side you want, you know. Are you on the side of the emperor? Are you on the side of whatever them call, you know, their messiah or their, you know, whatever, you know what I'm saying? You know, and that happened down in the 1950s, guys. Rastafarian are coming from far, ain't just coming from yesterday, ain't just coming from Capleton or Sizzler or Morgan Heritage or Dennis Brown or you know, the great men, you know, Half Pint and them. It's not coming from them, it's coming way far from them. They just took it they just took it on and took it to another level. You understand? And force the pressure. You understand? Because you had to take a stand. They had to take a stand. You know, I mean, back in the 1930s, you know, the biblical prophecy was fulfilled. That was the rise, the birth of Rastafarians in the 1930s, and by the 1950s, you know, Rastafarians countercultural stance and enforcement, you know, brought movements and conflict with wider Jamaican society, you know, including violence, clash with law enforcement, you know, and early Rastafarians often, you know, call black supremacy as a form of opposition to the white increase, respectively, you know. That's how it was in those days, man. Within Jamaica, greater visibility abroad through the popularity of Rastafarians inspired reggae musicians. Most notably, the great Robert Nesta Marley, the great Sir Honorable Robert Nesta Marley was, when the movement started to come, before all them singers and all of them, it was Bob Marley who really took that Rastafarianism to a higher heights. You understand? Enthusiasm, man, and Rastafari declined in the 1980s following the death of Haile Selassie and Bob Marley, But the movement survived. Yeah, the movement survived. The movement survived thanks to the likes of Capleton and Cecil and Dennis Brown and Gregory Isaac and Half Pint and Cocotte and them, man, and the great Charlie Chaplin and the great Sir Brigadier Jerry. Those men took it on. They didn't leave it to die, because those men were men who would have believed in the movement. They believe in the spiritual movement. You understand? Rastafari movements, decentralized, man. Decentralized and organized as a largely sectarian basis, man. There are several dominations of the culture. Many the dominations and the many mansions of Rastafari. That's why I tell you, it's not just one. It's not just one Bobo Shanti, or it's not just one Nyabingi. Different tribes. Understand? You got white man who's a Rasta man, and him know more about the culture than even some black man. Because I have a friend and an associate, and one black, one white, and both of them Rasta man. And I asked them a question one day, and only the white man could have answered the question. Right? This white friend of mine can cook oxtail and can cook curry goat. White man, Rasta man, true to the culture, can cook all of them stuff. He can cook ackee and saltfish. He can roll dumpling. And this black associate that I have, through a friend of mine, he a Jamaican parent, and he can't even boil water. You give him a pot with some water, and him burn up the pot. The water boil out to the pot. You understand? So you see a man does grow him not here, or grow him ask him what the meaning of the hair on him head, and him can't tell you. Ask him what Rastafarian meaning, can't tell you. Because a lot of them will tell you it's just a lifestyle. People, I've been telling you this. Rastafarianism is not a lifestyle. It is a religion. And through that religion form a culture. And if you can't follow the culture and keep up with the culture, don't grow your hair, don't grow your natty and become a Rasta man. Stay true to who you are, whether you want to remain a bald or a bald Rasta man, because I said you don't have to be dread to be, you don't have to grow your locks to be a Rasta man, because you have natty dread. And them no consider as Rasta man, they only consider as natty dread, because you don't have a natty dread movement. You have a Rastafarian movement, Rastafari movement. You don't have a natty dread movement. So a man can't walk up to me and say, hey, I'm a natty dread. I say, go from here. Move, take away yourself. Run away. Because you ain't true. When you find yourself, you can come back to me and talk to me. Because you just decline yourself as a Rasta man and call yourself a natty dread. You just call yourself a natty dread. And natty dread is not a movement. Rastafari is the movement. So if you come to me and say I'm a Rasta man, I can ask you which clan you're from, which tribe you're from, and then you and I can reason and the tribe, and you can teach me about your tribe. Because I want to know all about the tribes. I know a little about the tribe, but I want to know all that I can know. Because Marcus Garvey said, knowledge is power. The Honorable said, knowledge is power. You can never be too much to read. There can never be too much knowledge. Here they used to say when we used to grow up in Jamaica as a kid, and they used to see madman walk in the street, and he was a teacher, a principal, or a headmaster, or a headmistress. Them say, overthink and him get mad. I don't believe in that philosophy. A man just mad if him for mad. I don't believe in all that philosophy. If you read too much, you get mad, you get crazy. All these young kids right now, with them brain running like computer, how they ain't getting mad? Huh? Our brain can't run as fast as these young kids these days. These sixth graders, seventh graders and up. Our brain can't run like them. They on the computer, the phone. They know everything that when you learn next year, they already learn it 3 years ago. You know what I'm saying? So the brain can never too much, and knowledge can never be too much. You know what I'm saying? So, you see, let me tell you something, man. You see the mansions of Rastafari, the most prominent and which are the Nyabingi. You have the Nyabingi, you have the Ashanti, and the 12 tribes of Israel. I told you guys earlier on in one of my videos about the 12 tribes of Israel. They're part of the Rastafarian religion, but they're a separate body, a separate entity of the religion, which they call the 12 tribes of Israel. Which that's where my father belongs. My father is from the 12 tribes of Israel. Because I told you guys, I grew up a Rasta, and I will die a Rasta. Don't let the ball head fool you. You understand? Because you don't have to be dread to be Rasta. Because some man call themselves Natty Dread, and some man call themselves Dread. You know, dread is a dreadful thing. So if you come to me and you say you're a Rasta man, then you and I can reason. But don't come to me and say you're a Dread. You're a Natty, or you're a Dread, or you're a Natty Dread. What's that? I don't know no culture, no religion by the name of Natty Dread. I know a Rastafarian culture. And I know the Rastafarian culture not just coming from Africa, but it started in Jamaica. Nobody from any part of the world can come and tell me, oh, they started Rastafarianism. Because Marcus Garvey don't lie. And the Rastafarian religion all started in Jamaica, and then the world adopted. The great Bob Marley took it to a height, and then the great Sizzler and the great Fireman Capleton, David House, and Judgment House, those guys, they took Rastafarian serious. That means you don't step to a Rastafarian like you're some little, la le. No, these men have this culture, this religion, and they're sticking to it, and you're not gonna come and mess things up. With the little younger janga say, my uncle used to say younger, because they're Christians, so they couldn't curse bad words, so their bad words was younger janga, and hang pon nail and stuff. But we know they were cursing, Who said Christian don't curse? Yeah. So, each of them offering a different interpretation of Rastafarian belief. Because if you find a Bobo, if you find a Nyabingi, if you find a Shanti, if you find someone from the 12 tribe of Israel, they're gonna give you 4 or 5 different understanding of the religion, Rastafarian religion and belief. And right now they're like what, 6,000, 600,000. Richie, man, you're not helping me, Richie. Yeah, about 600 or 700 to 1 million Rastafarian across the world right now, and that include white, black, Spanish, Chinese, Indian, you name it. Because it's not just black man that is Rastafarian. You have white man that is a Rasta man, and he understand the culture. He love the culture. He understand the culture. He live by the culture. You understand? And although small communities can be found around the world, with major population, centuries, most Rastafarians are black African descent, even though you find a different entity and nationality of Rastafarian, but most of a Rastafarian descendant is from the African descent. Because Jamaicans are not Jamaicans, they're Africans. Their forefathers and their ancestors was brought to Jamaica. And the Rastafarian culture didn't come by just color and the food. No, it's deeper than just food and clothes. My brethren and my sisters, it's deeper than that. And some groups have said only black members. Even till this day, you still have groups that, if you're a white dread, a right Rasta man, you can't join that group because they only accept black members. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, after the years, you can see things change, because and that was back in the day. They didn't accept black members, but that was back in the day because Rastafarian wasn't much popular like the Anglican Church or the Roman Catholic Church. There was just a group trying to exist. But then non-black members start to emerge, and then there's nothing they can do about it. Because they find out, say, these men who becoming Rastaman is a white man, but he understand the culture, and he knew what black men going through, and he knew he knew the implication behind growing that dread. But he accepted. He accepted. He knew. He knew. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't want to see a white man just grow him dreadlocks, and come and say, I'm a white dread. No, you gotta know the culture. You gotta know the meaning behind that hair that you're growing. You know what I'm saying? Don't grow it for fashion. Grow it for a reason. Grow it for a meaning. Grow it for a cause. You know what I'm saying? Because I mean, Rastafarian, they describe as religion, as a religion. It is described as a religion. It's been talked about. Meeting of many proposed definition for what constitutes a religion. So it's not like a group of people just get up and said, okay, we're gonna form this Rasta movement. No, they dug deep into religion. And what is a religion, and what's the definition and the meaning of religion, and if we're going to become a Rastafari and we're going to form a Rastafarian movement, what are the culture, what are the rules, what are the do's, what are the don'ts, what is going to separate our religion from all the rest of religions, you understand? And this is where these schoolers came in, the great Marcus Garvey and many more, you know what I'm saying? You had what's his name, Fernandez Olmos. He was a Spanish guy. He's Hispanic, but he became a Rastafarian too. So yeah, so it's not just black, but the movement starts from Jamaica, but like I said, it's from African descent. They brought back the African culture. Jamaicans brought back the African culture and said, okay, if this African culture was working for them when they were in Africa, it should work for us, but what can we do differently so we don't get overpowered? Instead we overpower, because Rastafarian is a powerful religion, man. Because You do your fasting. You don't eat certain things. You don't drink certain things. You don't do certain things. You don't wear certain things. Can you abide that by that for the next 50, 60 years of your life? You gotta ask yourself that, because I see a lot of men and women that grow their hair and they trim after. Some trim because of circumstances, and some trim because they've been mocked and jeered. You get what I'm saying? You know, I mean, you got other scholars who was also classified as the new religious movement. They call it a secret cult. Back then they call it a secret cult because, like I said, man, I was born in the 30s or 40s growing up, but I was born in the 70s, and I know when you hardly see a Rasta man, but when you do see a Rasta man and all these Christians walking past, you hear the grumbling, dirty head boy, dirty head dread. I wonder how much 40 leg in his head and all them stuff, and you used to just shake your head as a boy, man, and you know, after Jamaica, has been described as a Afro Jamaican religion, and more broadly Afro Caribbean religion. Because let me tell you something, man, Jamaica have more churches than schools. Jamaica have more churches than schools and hospitals. I think Jamaica have the most churches in the small island. Believe me, I can tell you that. And you have one little parish. We have 50 different church. 10 big ones, and the 10 big ones control the 40 little ones. So when you go to church and you drop your collection in the small churches take it to the bigger church, and the bigger church share whatever needs to be shared. I'm telling you, I grew up in an Anglican church, and this is how we saw it. When all the graduations, no small church had the authority to keep a graduation ceremony. Only the big churches. And there was the two churches in my village, one Anglican church and one Catholic church. And even though there was different entity, there was one body. Because you go to the Catholic church and you go to the Anglican church, they did almost the same thing. They dress the same way, they practice the culture the same way, they practice the religion the same way. It was just, maybe the Anglican church was the brother, and the Catholic church was the brother, and the Anglican church was the sister. But that's all it was back then. Although Rastafarian, they focus mostly on African and the source of identity, because even till now, some Rastaman still can't find their identity, even though they say they are a Rastaman. They still can't find their identity. Men and women who are Rastafarian, and you can't find your identity. Your identity in Africa is Africa, my brothers and my sisters. Your identity is in Africa. Because it is a product of creolization, the process in the Americas, subscribed by the Hispanic study scholars, I think her name was, I'm trying to remember her name, I can't remember, man. I know it was Fernandez, Margaret Fernandez Olmos, and Elizabeth Gebert, and there was as Creole, they call it Creole religion. They didn't call it Rastafarian religion. They called it Creole religion. You know what I'm saying? They didn't call it Rastafarian religion, and they were scholars, but they were from different, entity. They were Hispanics, and they didn't understand the movement, so they didn't want to accept it and say it's a Rastafarian religion. They call it a Creole, and Creole originated in the Caribbean. It's not just Jamaican that speak Creole. You have the Trinidadians that speak Creole. You have the Guyanese that speak Creole. All the Caribbean islands, they speak the different Creole. Haiti speak a different Creole. They don't just speak French, they speak Creole as well. Bad ones too, like Jamaica. Can we speak proper English, broken English, and then we get down into the Creole, where only Jamaicans can understand Jamaicans. Just like when a Spanish man come to you and start hitting the words in Spanish, you just stand there, lost for words. You don't understand what he's saying. So that's why I said never lose your culture, never lose your identity. Stay true to who you are and where you're from, and be proud of where you're from and where you were born. Even if you were born in the bush, in the hill, and a stone on the other side of the river, you have a reason why you let your parents give birth to you there, man. Rooted in, Rastafarian, rooted in the African, European, and Indian practice and beliefs. Because, Jamaica don't have just straight black people. They have black Indians as well. We have the Maroons. That's why it's called the West Indies. We are West Indians. We are mixed between African Europeans and Indians. That's why we're called out of many one people. Because we're not just black people, even though black people were taken there as slaves and later claimed the land, after so many years of oppression and slavery. Black people said enough is enough. Enough is enough. And that's why we had our 7 national hero, and even when I'm dead and gone the next 10,000 years, those 7 men and 1 woman name will still be calling. Because if it wasn't for them, we probably would have out of slavery, but we would have still been in bondages and chains, and we're still in bondages and chains. Because we get independent, but we ain't independent. We got our independent, but we are not independent. We're always dependent. We're always dependent. You had this man, the scholar Ennis B. Edmonds, also suggested that the Rastafarian was emerging as a world religion, not because of the number of its adherents, but because of its global spread. Many Rasta nevertheless reject the description of Rastafarians as a religion, instead referring to it as a way of life. You know what I'm saying? A philosopher or a spirituality. That's why I'm telling you, people, it's not every man or woman out there you see growing the dread, is a Rasta man or a Rasta woman. Because some just wear the hair as a way of life. They don't stay true to the culture. So if you want to become a Rasta man, you gotta stay true to the culture, and you gotta understand the culture. Emphasize the practical stance of the religion, particularly in support of the African nationality. You understand? And the Pan-Africanism. You gotta understand all those things, man. You gotta understand Rastafarian and the political movements and the political religious movements, and the protests and all these things that these men fought for all these years to be who they are, as an alternative, being labeled as social movement or social speciality, And nevertheless, man, just like all that Rastafarian movement, they started the strive back in the 1989, the British Industrial Tribunal included, for the purpose of race relations, the Farmer Act in 1976. That was like, Rastafarians could be considered as ethnic group now, because after that act was after the Race Relations Act was signed, by the Industrial Tribunal in 1976, Rastafarian now was considered as an ethnic group because they have a long shared heritage with distinguished, groups, cultural tradition, common language, and common religion, which take you right back to Africa. Rastafarian, they continuously change and develop, man. So you see, it's coming from the Bob Andy, then it come up to the Brigadier Jerry, then it come up to the Dennis Brown, and then it come up to the Capleton and the Sizzler, and then you have these the Massacre and all these young artists now who taking it and pushing it, you know. And that's all the Rastafarian, because you see, no matter what, you're going to find one person who going to put their foot down and take a stand and say, listen, man, I know Rastafarian movement is the right movement, and I'm going to do my best to continue this movement. You know what I'm saying? So all these men and women, you know, they you see Rastafarians and stuff, man, just, you know, be blessed that, you know, you follow your culture, you stick with the culture, and you follow the teachings of our great late Marcus Garvey, man. You know, don't let that man name go in vain. You know, don't ever let that man go in vain, because that man, as a bald man, started the Rastafarian movements, and because of him, and you know, we are where we are today. You know. Because the man went to college, man. The man went to college and the man studied, you know. Above everything, and I'm gonna talk about Marcus Garvey. You know, I'm gonna doing a video on Marcus Garvey, and because I keep telling people about Marcus Garvey, and people in the world still emailing me and asking me, who is Marcus Garvey? Who is Marcus Garvey that I'm talking about? Who is this Marcus Garvey? And I'm keep telling them, man, just the man is so powerful and he's so great. Just go on Google and type in Marcus Garvey. You don't even have to type in Sir or Marcus Messiah Garvey. Just type in Marcus Garvey. You don't even have to say Marcus Garvey from Jamaica. Just type in Marcus Garvey and you will get whatever. You're not gonna get all the information on him unless you buy his book, and you can find his book on Amazon. Go on Amazon, read, and you can buy the book, and you can download it ebook, or you can buy the book, a hard copy of the book, and keep that with you, and trust me, that book is very inspirational, very spiritual, very educational. When you read that book, trust me, your life will change, man. You know, will change. You know, I mean, Rastafarianism, man, continuously change and develop. You know, practitioners, man, and they kept up with it, with practitioners and groups. You know, and the unified movements of the Rastafarian world. You know, it's never, like I said, there's never been a single leader. There's never been a single leader followed by all Rastafarians. There's never been a single. Because like I said, Rastafarian is not one person, it's a movement. It's a movement of different tribe with different culture. But it's one religion. It's one religion, guys. One religion. It's no different religion. Yeah, it's a difficult road to take, you know. It's difficult to make broad generalization about the movement without us curbing the complexity or within it, you know. Because, you know, the schoolers religion, what's his name, Darren J.N. from Middleton suggested some time ago that it was appropriate to speak of a Fitio or Rasta spirituality, you know, rather than a single phenomenon. Like, you know, like, okay, where were these guys before the Rastafarian movement come? And then the Rastafarian movement come now, and then people start find all sort of philosophical belief, about, and there was a finding all these philosophical beliefs of the churches that was exploiting people and calling people nickname and dirty boy and throw dirty water upon man because him a grow him a become a Rasta man. And you call him dirty boy and 40 leg in them head and all them stuff. And all these people that used to disrespect Rastaman, they die and gone, and all these Rastamen still living in the village. They might be old now, but they're still living in the village. And all them sons and daughters who used to go to church and hallelujah, praise the Lord, they all dead and gone and forgotten about. You know what I'm saying? So what are we talking about? Because the term Rastafari derived from Ras, Ras. I think I don't want to get it wrong, guys. I know Rastafari is from Ras, and then you have the Tafari. You have the Tafari, you have the Ras, and then you have the Tafari, right? It's like a Mekonnen. It's spelled Makonnen, Makonnen. So the Rastafarians, Rastafari is coming from it's from Ras. So they took the word Rastafari because it's Ras. It was Ras, Tafari, Makonnen. That's 3 words. They took one word from that 3 word and called it Rastafari. Alright? And the original title of Haile Selassie, the great emperor, former Ethiopian emperor, the wisest emperor that ever lived and walked the face of the earth, man. Light the sea with fire, man. Yeah. I bet you guys didn't know that, huh? A lot of you guys say you're Rasta man and all that. I bet you didn't know that the great emperor set the sea on fire. And the Englishmen and them I was amazed. I have to bow down to the emperor because they never seen anything like that in all them life. So yeah. Can't ever forget the great emperor. Even though I talk about Marcus Garvey all the time, I still got to talk about my emperor. You know what I'm saying? And I'm proud of my emperor. So and then, you see the term Ras, it means duke or prince. So if you're gonna grow your Ras and become a Rasta man, you know that you're becoming a prince. Because Ras mean you're a duke or a prince in the European Semitic language. If you look up the European language and look up the word Ras, it means prince or a duke. In the European Semitic language, Tafari Makonnen was Selassie's personal name. Yes, gentlemen and ladies. Tafari Makonnen was Selassie's personal name. It is unknown why the early Rastas adopted this form of Haile Selassie name, but like I said, man, it's a term for their religion and as well as being the religious name. Rastafari is also used for religious practitioners themselves, man. Like the great Mutabaruka, the man they meditate non-stop. You think the man just go on IRA FM every day and talk a bag of nonsense and a bag of crap? When the man come on IRA FM, the man and come to talk to the public, those men come in with righteousness and clean heart and pure hands, so they can talk to the people and I listen to the great Mutabaruka. Right now, as I come off this program, I go turn on my radio and I go, because I don't listen to the great Mutabaruka on TV, because I don't used to his voice on TV. I grew up listening to that man on radio, My granny little AM radio. We didn't even have FM radio at them time. We had AM radio. But if you tune and you knock and knock, you eventually find granny radio. You understand? Yeah, man. So Rastafarianism is not just it's not a lifestyle. You know, all of you men and women who grew in your ear and said, "Oh yeah, you know, I'm Rasta." You gotta know the meaning, because once you start growing a hair, you start growing the crown on your head. You know, some man and woman carry the crown in the heart, some carry it on the head. But I believe the greatest crown it comes from the heart, because the great Emperor Selassie wasn't a Rasta man by here, but he was a Rasta man by the heart. In his heart, he knew he was a Rasta man, and he embraced all Rastafarians from around the world. You understand? And that's one of the reasons, out of all the Smile Island in the early 80s when they landed on Jamaica, when they landed, out of all the Smile Island, he came to Jamaica. Because he knew the great Emperor Haile Selassie knew that the religion all started from Jamaica. Yeah, they took the culture, they took the culture and the liberty from Africa, because they're Africans. But they took that and they formed a religion. You understand? That's why Rastafarian is not ruled by one entity or one said person. You know, the great fireman, the great Capleton, King Shango, when it became a great name in the musical industry, he didn't claim Rastafarianism as the leader of the Rastafarian movement or the Rastafarian group. With all the money and the fame and the power that he was escalating, he didn't do none of that. The great Sister Kalanchi didn't do none of that. The great Bob Marley didn't do none of that. The great Dennis Brown didn't do none of that. They didn't come on and said, okay, I'm a big Rastafarian now. I'm a big man now, so I'm going to be the leader, and you do what I say. No. These men brought the culture to other young kids or other young youths who wanted to know about the culture, who wanted to learn about the culture. And they embrace everybody, because Rastafarian is all about peace and love. That's why a lot of time Capleton don't thump down a boy. Not because them see Capleton turn Rastaman and go in the Rastafarian way and living right. Them think Capleton as a soft man. Capleton was before Capleton became the fireman, the prophet. King David, King Shango, it was Capleton. And I knew Capleton when Capleton used to wear short pants and short shirt and in Baliad and iron clocks. And him cut off here. I forgot the name, and it's not Kid and Play, but this little thing and roll up at the top. And Tavern Days. That's how I knew Capleton, and them man wasn't scared for box down boy or thump down boy anywhere, nowhere. Not because him come from St. Mary. That's why I always say, it's not only Kingston Badman come from. Badman come from everywhere. Everywhere in Jamaica and everywhere in the world. You don't go to Ethiopia and disrespect a man and think yeah. You gonna get that whoop. You don't go to Germany, or you don't come to America, you don't go to Africa and be like, oh, I'm a Jamaican so I can beat this man up. No, it ain't work like that. Badman is everywhere. Guys, gentlemen, they are everywhere and they can disrespect, and Rastaman can defend themselves anytime, anywhere. They just choose not to do so, because Rastafarian, like I said, is a religion, and the religion talks about peace and love, and they don't just talk about it. They embrace it, they act upon it, they act upon that religion. And that's why for years you never see these men get into conflict with anybody. People try to get in a conflict with them and they walk away because they know who they are and they stay true to who they are. And that's why they're great men and great legend. Both men and women. You know? both men and women of the Rastafarian world. They have great men and great women, man. You know, so I mean, Rastafarians, their belief, man, their belief was referred to totality of their religion, ideas, and belief as the Rastology. Yes, Rastology. Look up the word Rastology. Edmund described Rastafari as having a fairly cohesive worldview. However, the scholar Ernest Cashmore, I'm thinking about Ernest Goes to Jail. Ernest Goes to Jail. Ernest Cashmore thought that it was belief or it was a fluid and open interpretation of Rastafarians, you know, within the movements. And attempt to summarize Rastafari beliefs has never been accorded the status of creed or catechism, you know. That was just, like I said, man, these men will just come in and, you know, start to see the movement, you know, understand the movement, so they call it all kind of names and you know, if you've been to Jamaica or you grew up in Jamaica in the early 70s, 80s, you know what Rasta men went through, you know. You know what Rasta men went through, man. You know, I mean, Rasta placed great emphasis on the idea that, you know, personal experience and intuitive understanding should be used to determine the truth of validity and particular belief of practice, man. That's Rastafarian. No Rasta therefore has the authority to declare which belief and practice are orthodox and which are is unorthodox, you know. Because like I said, it's not just one man that's form a body. You know, the conviction that's Rastafari, man, has no dogma, you know, no dogma. It's so strong, man. It's strong. It's strong in itself and belief that becomes something of a dogma, man. A dogma. Look up the word dogma. According to some sociologists and religion and philosophers, you know, that's their belief, you know. But it became so strong that they couldn't overpower it anymore because it was running like a whirlwind, you know. I mean, some Rastas consider themselves as Christians. I mean, some Rastas do. You know, like the great Luciana. The great Luciana, he has dread. You know, yeah, great Luciana, the messenger. He's a Rasta man, but he has strong Christian belief because, like I told you guys in an earlier video, before he became a Rasta man, he met up with the great Garnet Silk, the Silky One. And after they have the conversation, I don't know what conversation sparked between the both of them, but, you know, Luciana became a Rastaman ever since, you know, but he still have his Christian belief. You can't, you know, like I said, man, you gotta understand Rastafarian and Rastafarianism because it's a religion. You can be a Christian Rastaman, because you have Rastafarian church. Yes, guys, you do have Rastafarian church, just like how you have Church of God and the Anglican and the Catholic and the Seventh-day Adventist. You have Rastafarian church. Ethiopia, my people, I'm telling you, Ethiopia also have a whole lot of churches. But most of the churches in Ethiopia, you know, they're Orthodox and unorthodox churches. You know, because you know, the Emperor Haile King Selassie, he was a Christian, and he was a member of the Roman Catholic Church. And in Ethiopia, you find a lot of Roman Catholic Church. I'm not sure if there's any Anglican church because I know Anglican church was there back in the days. I'm not sure if they discarded them. But you also have unorthodox church, which is the Rastafarian movement churches. So yeah, if you check that history back in Ethiopia, where Haile Selassie was a member of the Roman Catholic Church. So I mean, there's nothing wrong with a Rastaman being a Christian. There's nothing wrong with that. Because as I said, the great legendary living legend Luciana, the messenger, he's a Christian. He was a Christian and he is a Christian. Even up on the day he met the great Silky One, Garnet Silk. He was a Christian with buckle up pants and shirt in pants and stuff like that. The usual typical church-going boy. But he understood Rasta and Rastafarianism, and he held that in his heart up until this day. So when you're gonna bash the man because he goes to church, yeah, he goes to church, but the church that he goes to is not Roman Catholic Church and Anglican Church and Church of God and all that. No, he goes to the unorthodox Rastafarian Church. And Rastaman, they read the Bible, but it's the understanding of the Bible. It's just the understanding of the Bible. Because, Rastafarian religion has been deeply influenced by Christian and Jewish thoughts. And Rastafarian, the Afro-centralized blend of Christianity and Judaism. Rastafarianism is a blend of both. Because Rastafarians, they pray too. They pray, they chant. But the Judaism is the part that they follow their culture. They wear the clothes to represent. They wear the colors of and the flag to represent Rastafarianism. You understand? Christianity. Rastafarians, they treat the Bible as a holy book, occupying a central place in the belief of the system. With Rastas, they often adopting a literalist interpretation of the contents. Rasta regard the Bible as an authentic account of early Black African history. Of their place as God's favorite people. They believe the Bible is the key to understanding both the past and the present, and for predicting the future. You know what I'm saying? Well, they also regard it as a source book from which they can form a justify their means and practice. And Rastaman, commonly precise the final book of the Bible, the book of Revelation, because we're living in the book of Revelation right now. And when these elder Rastamen used to talk about these things 40 years ago, 30 years ago, 50 years ago, nobody believed them. Everybody laughed at them and called them crazy. As most important part, because they see it as contents of having, some particular significance for the world's present situation. You know what I'm saying? The Bible is made up of good and evil. Because mankind used the Bible for good and mankind used the Bible for evil. And I'm going to give you just a simple context of how the Bible is being portrayed and used for evil. Because a man call himself a man of God, and he pick up a Bible and him start to preach. And once a man start to preach and say things out of the Bible, he's going to draw attention to people. You understand? And he used that same Bible to build a church out of the people. It wasn't the Bible that built the church. The Bible brought forth the people so the people can drop collection and he can use the Bible, the collection for build a church, a sanctuary. And then after he do that, what he does, he shut out the people. And he start using all that money to build big house and buy big cars and all that. And I'm not saying nothing is wrong with that, because a man deserves to live the best of his life. But what about the people who was on the wayside with you? What about those people? They're still living on the street, waiting for hopes, the hope that you promised them, the hope that you sold them through the Bible. Yeah, so that's just a simple example. A Rastaman don't do that. When a Rastaman draw forth his Bible and read a passage out of the Bible to anyone, is something positive. You understand? It's something positive. It's nothing. It's no negativity. You understand? You know, because I mean, contrary to the understanding of how the Bible was complied, man, Rasta commonly believe it was originally written on stone in the European language of the Amharic. Yeah. Rasta believed that it was written on the stone of Ethiopian language, in the Amharic language, with Amharic, Amharic, right? They also believe that the Bible, the Bible's true meaning has been warped, both through mistranslation, of the language, and the deliberate um, cryptographic meaning. That it has many hidden meanings. They also believe that its true teaching can be revealed through intuition and meditation and the book within, which allows them to commune with Jah, because of what they regard as the corruption of the Bible. Rastas, they turn to other source that can justify the means, and they believe shed the light on African and history. You understand? Because Rastaman, I know growing up, Rastaman used to read the Bible. Because my father never leave his Bible. My father always have a little Bible in his back pocket. And I watched that man. I grew up I never spent all my life with my father, but the few little times I spent with my father, I watched them man get up in the morning, and before them get up in the morning, them chant a psalm, and them draw for them Bible before even tea go out them mouth, before them man they brush their teeth and all that stuff. And man they come out and look up to look up to Zion and chant a psalm. You understand? And him read a little passage from him Bible, and after him read a passage from him Bible, him go ahead to him kitchen and him make him tea and whatever him need for make. And after him drinking tea and do what him have to do and all of that stuff before him go to the farm, the man read them Bible and chant Selah and bless the holy mountain and bless Zion and go about his daily life. And come back in the evening, and before him head to him bed, him read him Bible again and him chant him psalm. You understand? So I mean, a lot of Rastaman, know these things, and a lot of them, like the younger ones now who coming up, don't know. It's for the elder Rastas to proclaim these message to the younger ones. I said, listen. I know you're a Rastaman and you want to be a Rastaman, but Rastaman is not all about just wearing hair and saying you're a Rastaman. You understand? You have to live. You have to live the life. You gotta live the life. And because Rasta is not just it's not for fashion. Rastafarianism is a religion. It's a mission that it's just halfway accomplished. Because even in this modern days, you have people who still bash Rastaman. You start growing, you hear nobody don't even want to give you a job. And the career and that we went to school for, that's what we pursue after we leave school, and we can't get that because they say, oh, you have long hair, we can't hire you. I remember back in the days, 15, 17 years ago, I was working at KFC and I had long hair, long beautiful hair, and I had to cut my hair because I was working at KFC, and they claim you can't work at KFC with your long hair, frying chicken and stuff and cook. If you're a cashier, that's different. Or you're doing something that doesn't have to do with the kitchen. You understand? I know the females, they used to put the little mesh over their hair, but the men had to cut their hair. You understand? But KFC, you know, further down the line, KFC, they cut all that out. They say if a man have him here and a man want to grow them here, KFC ain't gonna force nobody to cut them here. So they start let the men, the Rasta men or men who had long hair come in, wear the mesh over the hair just like, you know, a female would. Because you're asking the man now to cut him strength. You know. I don't know for other fast food restaurants or other, you know, fast foods change, but I know KFC changed that policy a long time ago, long years ago. They changed that policy. So, you know, all them young youths who want to, you know, get more insight on Rastafarians, you understand? I suggest to you, young men and women, read. You know, you understand? If you wanna get some more light to be shed on the African history, check out this book by Leonard Howells, 1935, work the Promise Key. Robert Atherley Rogers, 1924, the book of the Holy Piby, P-I-B-Y, and check out Fitz Petersburg, 1920s work, the Royal Parchment Stroll of Black Supremacy. Many Rastas, you know, they also read the Cabra Nagas, K-E-B-R-A-N-A-G-A-S-T, Kebra Nagast, a 14th century Ethiopian text as a source. You can find sources through the Ethiopian text, and that will shed some light into the interpretation of the Bible, or what they call now the Holy Book. You understand? So my friends, my family, my people, that's just a little part of digging into the Rastafarian culture, where it started, who started it, how it was started, how it developed, and as I go along, I'll be making videos on, you know, Rastafarian, Rastafarianism, not just entertainers, but, you know, Rastafarian in all different industries, you know, mechanical engineer, pilots, aviation, men and women, you know, anything, businessmen, you know, entrepreneurs and all that, you know, as a Rasta man, and the trials and the tribulation that they face while growing the Rasta. You understand? So my family, my people, my friends, my subscribers, big up YouTube. Your respect is always large to the heavens. Thank you again for giving me the opportunity to come on this platform and upload another video, another inspirational video. A lot of teachings, a lot of inspiration can be found from these videos that I'm gonna be bringing, and I'll be bringing you more insight on the culture of Rastafarianism, the spiritual journey, the religious neglects, the religious fights, the ups and the downs. So, you know, just go to my channel, African 50, and just watch my videos, and there's a lot more to come, and there's a lot more things you're gonna see and hear that you never seen or heard before, and what I'm telling you, and these videos that I'm making is facts and not fictions, and I'll be bringing you from time to time books and the authors of those books, and you can go and you can download them, download them, or you can buy a hard copy, and read them and get more insight. You know, if you choose to become a Rastaman, whether from the hair, growing your hair, or if you're a Rastaman from the heart, because like I said, I believe in the heart of a Rastaman and not the hair, you know, because the hair is just a symbol, is what's in the heart and what you believe in the heart. So, the hair is good because the hair is a representative of Rastafarian. But after you grow the hair, where do you go beyond that, beyond growing that hair? So all these things I'll be talking about in my videos to come. So, my people, I love that you love and appreciate the videos that I'm bringing you. Because I know you're watching my videos because I see the statistics that you're watching my videos, and but I haven't seen the statistics that you're subscribing. If I have 500 viewers and no subscribers, then I don't think I'm reaching you the way I'm supposed to reach you. So just comment and let me know what can be done, what can be improved, because there's a lot. I have so many books that when I read these books, I said these books, people should know things that's going on, and after reading these books or watching my videos, changes can be made in your life. I'm not saying I'm a prophet. I'm not saying I'm a preacher or a priest or a Buddhist or I'm just a media personality, African 50, your boy from Jamaica living in Florida, coming at you with so many more videos. So just, like, share, subscribe, share with your friends, check out my contents on African50.com. That's FRICONN50.com. And subscribe to my newsletter. Like I said, letters are never too much. Write me, if it's one line or a whole page, just write me and I'll read them because I love to read, and that's where I get my knowledge from. And not just going to school or going to the streets, but when I have time and I have nothing to do, I don't sit and linger. I pick up a book and I read. And that gives me a lot more insight than just going to school. Not that I'm saying school is not good, but you spend more time in your books when you're alone. So all you young readers out there, I encourage you to pick up a book and read instead of spending 1 hour on the street doing nothing. You can pick up a book and read for 20 minutes, 10 minutes. So, your boy African 50 is saying, as usual, until next time, please walk good.